It's no secret that college can be stressful. The academic pressures, trying to make friends, worries about the future. All of these can add up to a seemingly insurmountable amount of stress. And a lot of the time, it's hard to find an outlet, someone to talk to. The GRIT Coaching program by the Bruin Resource Center is trying to fill this need. In it, trained student coaches lend an ear to their peers.
I'm Jenna Hoover. I'm currently a coach with the GRIT Coaching program within the Bruin Resource Center. And I was also coached through the program last year. So the GRIT Coaching program creates a space for students to be coached by their peers or by a peer once a week for an hour on a one-on-one basis. And the difference between coaching and like mentoring or advising is that coaching comes from the mindset that students have or people have the answers within themselves.
GRIT coaches are trained in tools such as meditation and time management strategies. They are also trained to help those who have suffered assault and in suicide prevention. Being coached gives students the opportunity to talk about issues they are dealing with. A fourth-year economics student, Hoover has had her share of stress over the years.
Like one thing that I was experiencing last year was feeling like I needed more friends and be like, I read an article that we should have like 10 to 15 like friends that you should like be in like regular interaction with. And I was like, I don't have that many.
Her coach was able to help her find a bit of perspective.
So that was like one of the things that she first brought up is like, why do you think like why is 10 to 15 like the magic number, right? And so okay, like good point. We still like worked on even like disregarding like the number. It's just like, how can I like be like building relationships with people when I'm really busy? And so we are able to think of strategies like like going to the gym with people or like studying with people, and that was really helpful. And these are like all answers that I kind of came to myself. And my coach was the one who like helped ask the questions and like facilitate the conversation to get me there.
Although each student comes with a unique background and set of concerns, the coaches have noticed some themes. Graduate education student Jacqueline Robin notices that students tend to be hard on themselves.
And then there's also a lot of, I think, comparison going on. And so students, even though the students that I work with, basically all of them are very involved on campus and they have a lot of responsibilities and they're taking a full course load, they still kind of look around and see other students who they feel are doing even more than them. So I think there's a lot of feeling like, I don't compare to so-and-so, or, I need to step up if I want to be competitive for my future.
Robin feels that the atmosphere at UCLA may place more pressure on students.
When you have such a exceptional student body, it is easy to feel like maybe you don't measure up or that, you could or should be doing more. So, you get your first, bad grade ever, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not good enough, that kind of thing. But I think we forget, like, that happens to all students. Like, I'm sure if you polled 100 students, like 90 to 95 of them would say they've at one point or another felt like maybe they didn't belong here or UCLA made a mistake in admitting them.
Second-year neuroscience student Christian Macias is also a GRIT coach who says many students are also dealing with social pressures.
The second thing that we probably hear the most is just an inability to kind of like say no to like social opportunities that arise, like friends asking you to come to parties, and you kind of feel the pressure to like, I don't want to say no because what if they don't want to hang out with me anymore because I never go out.
Coaches try to build a relationship with their coachees over time.
I think my favorite thing to recommend or bring up to a mentee is the idea of journaling and kind of like writing out our stresses. And so what the exercise does is that it makes you like write down whatever stressful event you had, like kind of neutrally. A lot of people say like, I'm so stupid, like I'm never going to graduate, my GPA is so low, like I'm so behind. And so like when you write that all down, you kind of like take a moment and you realize like, wow, I like say this to myself on a regular basis. And then the next part of the exercise will just be to kind of like identify some ways that we can like change the self-talk into a more positive direction. It seems impossibly like difficult to dig out of that rut because it's just you catastrophize the situation you're in and it just like seems infinite and like very bleak. But once you kind of like realize that it's just small steps that we have to take, it seems a lot more practical.
Robin tries to help her coachees by providing a listening ear and trying to point out cognitive distortions.
So we talk a lot about identifying ways that maybe you're kind of brain runs away with itself and how you can develop strategies to address that.
The coaches try to provide an open space for students and provide them with resources, guiding them toward more positive thinking and behavior.
One thing that really sticks with me is how it created a space for me to like reflect on kind of my life and how it was going and like what I wasn't quite satisfied with, because in the past I feel like I haven't really had spaces to like be talking through things with people. Like being with someone who was just genuinely interested in my well-being and who like spent an hour every week just caring about me. And that's just a really good thing to have. And unfortunately, I don't think everyone does have that.
But the GRIT coaches are trying their hardest to make sure it's something everyone does have. For Daily Bruin Radio, this is Denise Lynn.